Hi guys, so finally I'm live. I know I'm late by 10 minutes, but I actually forgot to make a thumbnail for the video for the stream. So actually I had to go make the thumbnail first before starting it. So yep, I am late by 10 minutes. By the way, please do comment if you are able to hear my voice without any interruptions. Let me know how the audio quality is, how the video quality is, and all that stuff. Let me know, guys. Comment down below. I'll be reading your comments. So let me just wait until I get some comments to just make sure that everything is going all right. Okay, I think the audio is fine. Song name at the beginning, I have no idea. I just googled free stream templates and I just got that. So it's non-copyrighted, so I could use that. I don't know the song name. Guys, please comment below if you were able to hear me without any interruption, so that I can proceed with what I wanted to do now. Increase volume, all right. The volume. Okay, try to increase the volume a bit. I did increase the volume just now. Right, actually I'll try to speak a little closer to the mic, because if I increase the volume you can hear all the disturbance from in the background. That's why I just put my volume a little low, right? So by the way, if you're wondering why I'm looking to my left side, it's because I have my MacBook right there. I'm reading the chat from there, so I'll be looking there very often in order to crashed. No, I don't think it's crashed. I don't think it's crashed. Okay. All right. So the reason why I came live today, as I've already made community posts, I even posted a story on YouTube, on Instagram. So basically, I wanted to do something different for this live stream. I wanted to basically build a a website on the live stream, which is basically like protectedtext.com. So if you do not know what is this protectedtext.com, if you're a constant watcher of my channel, viewer of my channel, then I actually already made a video on protectedtext.com about how I tried hacking it, but something unexpected happened. If you did not watch that video yet, you could watch that video. Just go to my channel, you'll find it right there. So basically, I just thought of making a website like protectedtext.com on the live stream. So first of all, let me show you what is this protectedtext.com. So this is the website protectedtext.com, and the main objective, the main idea of this website is that anyone can create a site. For example, if I want to store some text content on the internet, I have many options, right? I have literally tons of options. I could log into my Google Drive and create a text file there and save it there, or I could use other websites like Evernote, and there are many alternatives. But all of these things require you to sign in, and they are also not completely, well, I wouldn't say they're not completely secure, but the implementation they follow is that when a user enters, the user firstly need to log into his account in order to save or create the text. That's what it means. That's what they implement. But this website protectedtext.com, it's very different. It's very unique approach to keep the text of the users is completely, it's really good. I love this idea, and let me actually show you a demo. For example, if I want to store some text, I would say, let's say we want to say video YouTube dash TechRaj, something like that. So I could create a web site like this. So protectedtext.com/YouTube dash TechRaj. And what this does is if I go to this link, it creates this site for us now. So this site we will be able to use it. I'll show you. I'll just hit enter, and you could see that this site is actually available. So it says that the site is it doesn't exist, so we can take it. So I'll say create site, and there you go, you have a text area like this with you. So now here you could write any text you want. You could copy text from any source and paste it here. So let's say I write this is some test text, and you could even add many tabs like that. And once you are done writing or storing your text here, you could just click on save, and then it asks you to create a password with which you want to encrypt this site. Now let me create some password right there, and when I click on save, you could see that the site is now saved, which means our text is now saved. But the only thing that is different here is that our password, which we just entered right now in the browser, did not leave our browser. It is not sent to the server at all. So you might wonder, if this password is never sent to the server, whenever you are trying to reload this page, for example, you are somewhere else outside and you want to access your text which you stored, and then you click on this, you just go to the same link which you created, and now you could see it asks for the password with which you want encrypted this site. Now you need to enter the password, and only if the password is right. If I enter a wrong password, for example, it says wrong password. So only if the password is right, the text is saved, or shown. So you might wonder, how is this working? I've told you that this password is never sent to the server. It never leaves your browser window. In this case, I'm using Brave browser, so it never leaves Brave browser. So the way this works is really interesting, very interesting, very almost perfect implementation of cryptography, and to make sure that your site is actually secure. So what happens is, this site is actually encrypted on your browser itself with the password which you created, and that encrypted text is actually sent to the server, not the plain text or any password. Only the encrypted text is sent to the server. So all the decryption and encryption part happens on the client side, and nothing actually happens on the server side. The only thing that server is responsible to do is to fetch the request for a particular site. For example, I'm going to YouTube-TechRaj, protectedtext.com/YouTube-TechRaj. If I go to this, it's going to take that request, and what it's going to do is it's going to fetch the encrypted text which is stored on the database of the server, and it's going to send that text as a response to our request. And our browser, when it receives this request, it's going to decrypt. It's going to try to decrypt this site with the password which we input. So in this way, the password is not going anywhere. It's just on the browser, right? So that's what this site is responsible to do. And for us to build a website like this, I think we need to. This is just a basic outline of how this site works. So for us to actually understand or build a website like this with this kind of implementation, we need to know more, I guess. So that's why I got my write pad here. I thought I would just write something down. Let me just plug this real quick. So I'll just go a little deeper into how this implementation works. So unfortunately, I have only 3 USB ports. My microphone is using one of it, my webcam is using one of it, and my mouse is using one of it. So I have to unplug my mouse. Anyways, let me do it. Right, I hope this works. I did not check if it's still working. So let me open Plumbago. No, we cannot store other sources such as PDF or JPG. The whole, you could look at the domain name. It's protectedtext.com. It is made to store only text. But what I thought is to extend this functionality and to be able to give a functionality to the user so that he or she can also store the image files, for example, and also include text formatting. because the protectedtext.com website does not have text formatting, which means you cannot basically edit your text. You cannot make it bold, you cannot make it italic, you cannot center align the text or anything. It's just like a notepad, like your notepad. You can't bold or do anything with it. So what I wanted to do is to make it something like, for example, Microsoft Word, which have many formatting options like bolding the text, italic text, basic formatting options. I wanted to implement that, but for now in this stream we'll actually just try to create a site like that. But later I will actually definitely try to implement all the other features. Now the thing is, if we were able to completely build this website on this stream, good, it's fine. But if we were not able to build the complete website in this stream, because trust me or not, developing something, writing code is something you can't expect. You can't really put a time limit on when you would complete developing that particular application. So I just can't really say if you will be able to complete building it in this stream. But if we did not complete building it in this stream, then I'll continue that stream tomorrow. But we will definitely build it fully. And also I have even purchased a domain, securetext.in. This is going to be our domain of the website which we were going to build in this stream. So we will be hosting our website which we build on securetext.in, and once it is done, it goes live, so you guys can start using it right away. So anyways, let's try to complete it by today. Okay, it's Plumbago. Let's create a new node, and I'll say okay, is this working? Oops. Okay. Okay. I actually forgot how to use this software. I used it earlier, but right now I actually forgot how to use it. So, yep, I might mess up using this software. But anyways, so as I told you, let's say this is our browser. How do I clear the screen? Do I just erase this stuff? I wrote it by mistake. Alright, let's start. So let's say we have our browser. So this is our browser. I'll just draw a browser something like this, right? So this is going to be our browser, and inside this we have protectedtext.com opened. And what we do is, once we write our text, so this is our text, our plain text, we write our plain text in this browser on the protected text website, and then it asks you to actually choose a password, if you saw this earlier, right? So what it does is it takes the password from us. This is all done with JavaScript, obviously. So it takes the password, and what it does is it encrypts this plain text with the password which he gave using the AES algorithm. So it's going to basically send this to AES algorithm, encryption algorithm, and it's going to encrypt it with the password which we have given. So this results in something like what we could call it as a cipher, or in other words, the encrypted form of the plain text which we created. And notice that throughout this whole process, nothing has left the browser yet. It's all done on the browser side. So once this cipher is created, what it does is it then sends this cipher. Let's say there is our server right here, right? This is our server, let's say. So once it creates this cipher text, it's going to send this cipher text to the server. The protected text server. Now, if you look at this implementation closely, there are two main advantages here. The first thing is that you do not have to log into this website in order to start creating or writing text or storing text. You just have to go to the site which you wish to create, or which you already created, and enter the password of the already existing site, or if you are creating a new site, just choose a password which you want to decrypt that site, and then you just right away go ahead and write your text in that protected text site, and then you click on save. And when you click on when you click on save, this process is going to happen. Your plain text is going to be encrypted with AES algorithm based with the secret key or the password which you have inputted, and then this is going to create a cipher, and that cipher is then sent to the server. Now imagine if someone, this is the first advantage, you do not need to log in. You could literally store text on the go. You don't need to log in to any account or whatever. You just have to remember the password which you encrypted that site, right? And the next thing, the second main advantage is that this implementation makes sure that none of your information, not even your plain text or your password which you use to encrypt the site, is actually leaving the browser. Only the ciphertext. The ciphertext is basically the encrypted form. So even if someone has the ciphertext, they cannot do anything with it, because they need to have a password in order to decrypt it, and only if they decrypt it, you could get the plain text form from the cipher. So there's literally no way for anyone to know the plain text or the password which you use to encrypt the site. But you have to make sure that you use a strong password. For example, if you're using a password like 123, it's pretty easy for any hacker to decrypt your ciphertext by brute forcing, and it won't take much time to. If you are using a password like 123, I think it would be cracked in like less than a minute or so. So you have to make sure you use a strong password. The next thing is, let's say you're using a public Wi-Fi network in a coffee shop or wherever where other people are also using the same Wi-Fi network. What someone can do is someone can sniff on your traffic. So this is, let's say, the hacker. A hacker is right here. So what a hacker can do is they can sniff your traffic, and by sniffing your traffic, they'll be able to see the HTTP requests and responses that you're sending and receiving from the server. So if this implementation is not followed, the plain text would be sent to the server, which means the hacker will pretty much be able to capture that. But here, because we're following this implementation, this ciphertext, even though the hacker has the ciphertext, he can't do anything with it. And also remember that we are only sending the ciphertext and not even sending the password, right? Because the password never leaves the browser, remember? So even though the hacker has a ciphertext, you need a password to decrypt it, so he can't decrypt it, provided that you're using a strong password to do it, to encrypt your text. So that's it. That's basically the implementation of how this protectedtext.com works. So let me read the chat for some time. Are there any chats? There are 54 viewers right now, so I hope my view count increases. 54 for a channel with more than 4 lakh subscribers. It's pretty terrible, actually. Actually, you know what? I recently watched a video of Megan Rinks. If you know her, let me know in the comment section. So it happened that her channel got hacked. I don't know how it got hacked, but it got hacked. She is a very big YouTuber. I think she has 3 million subscribers or something. And she made a video basically covering how YouTube reacted to, how YouTube provided support when she is going through the really terrible stuff when her channel got hacked. And it's actually, those videos are actually really funny. You have to check them out when you're free. So, yep, anyways, let's come back. So this is the basic implementation. I guess I'll just plug off my thing. I'll plug it in when I need it, because as I told you, I only have 3 USB ports, so I need to plug in my mouse. Not used to touchpad, so I'll use my mouse. So that is the implementation that we are going to follow. So the first thing that we need to make sure is obviously the user interface of the website. And believe me, I have literally no experience in designing websites, designing the UI of the websites. So this is the first time ever I designed. Designing the UI of the website, by writing code or something like that. If you consider designing a website with Wix, which doesn't involve any code, it's just a drag and drop editor, then I've designed many websites. But using code, actually Bootstrap, I used Bootstrap for this to design this user interface, and this is the first time I did it. So Yep, the UI may not be as good, but this is the first time, guys. Everything has a first time, so I'll probably improve to the next time. But this is the homepage that I created, and I'm using Bootstrap Studio. By the way, this is literally a lifesaver when it comes to learners who are trying to learn Bootstrap, because you could design websites in Bootstrap Studio by using Bootstrap framework, and it's really great. And you could actually get this Bootstrap Studio for free of cost if you have a GitHub account and you are a student. So I recently wrote an article on my blog about how to get a GitHub student developer pack, which includes a lot of tools, a lot of paid tools that are available for you for free because you are a student. So if you are a student, then you should utilize this opportunity. Just go to my blog and read the blog article about how to get the GitHub student developer kit. And this tool, Bootstrap Studio, is actually included in this GitHub student developer pack. So you could use this for free. I'm using this for free. Initially, this is not free. If you are not a student, you would have to pay. But since I am a student, I get to use it for free through GitHub. So anyways, this is the thing that I created. Let's actually preview this. Right, so this is the home page basically. So it says save your text securely on the go, create a site and store your text on not separate. So basically what you have to do is you just have to write something here, the site, the name of the site you want to create. For example, I could create something like assignment dash my name Teja. So if I click on go, this will take you to this site, securetext.in/assignment, or whatever the name you have given. And right now this go button is not still programmed to go, but we will program it. So this is the home page basically. You could create a site from here, or this is not the only way to create a site. You could directly go to securetext.in followed by the site name which you want to open or which you want to create, right? So that's one page. And then the next page is create page. This is the thing. I'll just show you this preview as well. So if the site which you are trying to open is available, if it's vacant, then you get to take the site, right? So it displays this page right here which says site is available, and it asks you to create a password or choose a password with which you want to encrypt this site basically, right? So when you just enter the password, re-enter it, and then you click on create site. Once again, this create site button doesn't work yet, but we will program it as we move forward. And then the next thing is enter password.html, and this one is this is the page. So if the site which you are trying to open already exists, then it asks you the password to decrypt that site. So you just enter the password and you click on the decrypt button, right? So the next page is the text area. So this is the most complex page of this website so far. So this is how the page looks like. You could see that you could create a tab like this: tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4, and you could basically write some text in different tabs. And you could see as I write the text, the tab is actually updated to fit the text value up to 20 characters, and if it's more than 20 characters, it is appended with 2 dots like that. So it's basically basic JavaScript. I use some basic JavaScript to put some event listeners, text change listeners and stuff. And this is also, as I mentioned, I made it with Bootstrap. So it basically allows me to create new tabs like this, and then we could just write text whatever we want. And then you could see that there are buttons: save, reload, change password, and delete. So if you click on save, it must, once again, these buttons are not designed yet. As you could see, they don't respond because they are not designed yet. So yep, we will design that. And once again, you also have this close tab button. So if you click on this button, it says, are you sure you want to delete the tab? If you click on OK, that tab is deleted. So yep, some basic JavaScript right there. And yep, that's the whole UI of the website. And we also have 2 pages left. I did not design the about me page, and I mean not about me, about the site page, and another page that is how the site works. So we will design it later, but let's come into the implementation of this thing, right? Nice. So We'll be using Python for backend. So obviously, I already mentioned that we are using Bootstrap for front end, and obviously we have to use JavaScript too for the front end. Uh, and for the backend, we'll be using Python Django framework because Django is really easy to use. Ashav Parjapat, thanks for the 100 rupees super chat, bro. Really appreciate it. Bro, you're doing good job. Thank you. Keep supporting. Thank you once again, Ashav Parjapat. I'm sorry if I messed up pronouncing your name, but thanks. Right. So, as I was saying, we'll be using Django framework to build this website because I feel really comfortable with Django. I do not have much experience with Django, but I still feel comfortable in it. So the thing is, the Hack Me challenge which I built earlier, I think, yeah, it's still live, so I'll just show you this website. So this one is also built with Django framework. This CTF is also built with Django framework. So from that time I felt more comfortable with Django. So yep, I thought maybe we'll build it in Django framework as well. Right, so let's go ahead and do it. So the first thing you need to obviously have is Django installed. So obviously I have my Django installed, Django framework installed. So I'll just create a new I hope you could see. How do I maximize the command prompt font? Is there anything you could do? Okay, font 18, 20, 24. Okay, now I think that should be fine. That should be visible. So I'll just create a Django project. I'll say Django admin start project, and we'll say secure text. Secure text is the website that we are creating, so we'll just say secure text. So that must create. Okay, already exists. Okay, this is basically the Bootstrap Studio, I guess. The Bootstrap Studio, this file that already exists. So let's try another name, secure text dash in. We'll just say not a valid. All right, we'll say underscore in. There you go, it created the web the thing. So if you go to documents, you could just see that you have something like secure text.in. So we'll just open this folder in Sublime Text. I use Sublime Text mostly. Okay, why did my camera go off? Did it go off? Nope, it's fine. So anyways, let's go open the folder which we just created. It's on documents, so it's going to be secure text underscore in. This is the folder, and you could see there are actually files already created. So you could see there is some init.py, settings.py, manage.py, and stuff like that. So these are already by default created when you start a Django project. So one more thing, guys, is I just want to, Ankit Kumar is right there, is trying to access YouTube live chat window. It's not going to work, bro. I mean, I think it's supposed to be a joke, but anyways, right. So where was I? So yeah, I was saying that Django. I was saying that this live stream may not like make you understand what I'm doing, because you will need to have a little bit of idea in Django if you want to understand what I'm doing. But this will definitely give you a basic outline of how you can build web apps with Django. You may not obviously understand it completely if you don't have any prior experience or prior knowledge about Django Python framework, but it's definitely going to give you a basic outline of how web apps are built with Python, right? So this is the thing, and we have created a project. So now let's actually create an app. So an app is basically one component of Django. In Django terminology, there is a project that is the basic main thing, and below this project or inside this project there can be many number of apps as you wish. So each app is responsible for each functionality. So I think for our case, we only need one functionality when talking about the server side, and the only functionality is for us to serve requests, get the request, and send the appropriate response to that request. That's the only thing we need. We need to get the request for a particular site. We have to retrieve that ciphertext from our database, and we have to send that. That's it, right? So we will do that. So we will say Python manage.py start app, and let's call this as what should we call this? Site handler. site handler. Yep, site handler. So we are creating, okay, I forgot to go to the directory actually. Just a minute. Right, now we could say python manage.py start app site handler, and this you could see it created a new folder, site handler. So this is the app. So first of all, in the urls.py we could actually go ahead and map our urls. So the first thing we will do is we will export this exporting will basically create all the html css files and javascript files and all that stuff. So we will just create a new directory here. What's this? We will secure text, and let's create something like export underscore new. These two are the previous exports, by the way, so let's actually do it from scratch. So we'll create a new folder, export underscore new, and then yep, we'll just export it. So it says design was exported, so I'll just open that and we'll just see if these are working. So these are the exported files. You could see there are all HTML files, and then inside these assets there is Bootstrap, CSS, fonts, JS. Inside JS there are all the JavaScript files which we included, and then Bootstrap, all the Bootstrap related files and all that stuff. So let's actually open some file, see if that works. Yep, it's working fine. Right, we are good to go. So now what we need to do is just go ahead and first we have created an app site handler which should handle all the requests and all that stuff. Why did Michael D get timeout? And guys, please do not spam the chat, because if you spam the chat you will automatically get timeout because Nightbot is in the chat. So please do not use excessive symbols. Please do not post the same message again and again. Please do not why did Prithviraj also get timeout? I have no idea. I'm not reading the chat. I'm not paying attention to the chat. Anyways, so the first thing is our app needs to serve all these HTML files. So we'll copy all these things into some directory. Let's go to the directory of our app, which is securetext.in. So yep, here we'll create a new folder. Will say static. I named this folder static because all these files which we were about to copy are all static files, right? So we'll just inside this we'll paste all these files here. So now the first thing is we should map the home page of our website with the index.html, right? So I'll say home page, and I'll say, and before that we need to create views.py. So this is this views.py. So I'll just views.py is basically you could choose which URL should be mapped to which function here. So let's say I say open home page and I take request like that, and what this should do is it should return render of the template name, which should be something like index.html. If I'm not wrong, that's the name of the file. Yep, index.html is what we want to render. So we'll say index.html, and we also have to pass a request right there. So then we will have to map this function in urls.py. So what I'll do is I'll just first import and I forgot one thing. Let me quickly go ahead and add the app here, installed apps. So we need to add the newly created app, which is nothing but, what is that? Secure text underscore in. So we have to, whenever we are creating new apps in our project, we have to add these apps in the settings directory right there. Right. Then we'll just go to urls.py, and then we will map the home page of the app to the index.html, right? So first I will import from site handler import views as site handler underscore views. So we are basically importing the views.py, which is present in site handler, and this views.py actually contains the open homepage function which we want to map right there. So we will just say site handler underscore views dot what is the name of the view which we created? It's open underscore homepage. So we'll just map to this function right here. I'll just copy that and paste it here. So what this does is whenever any user goes to securetext.in without any path, then this open home page function is going to be rendered, which will render this index.html. So if you go ahead and run this, before actually running this, you actually have to mention the, okay, I'll just show you why we'll be getting an error now. You could see, but we'll see why we got that error. So python manage.py run server, that will start this server for our Django, and this is the IP address. It's basically localhost, so you could just go to this thing, and when you hit enter, you could see template does not exist. So we copied the template to our project directory, but we did not say where we want to we did not say to our views.py from where we want to render the template, remember. So what we need to do is we need to define a static underscore URL right here, and what you could do is you could say os.path.join, just a minute, yep, os. They mention really very clear in these comments, so we could say something like os.path.join base directory, which means the project directory where we are working right now, and then we want to append something like static. What is the name of the folder that we created? It's in static, yep, securetext.in / static, yep, static. That must create it, I guess. That must fix the error, maybe, we'll see. Must end with a slash, all right. Static, and then there's an index.html here. So let's see if it works. Still the same error. So it says template does not exist. So what have we done wrong here? You know what, never mind. Let's actually Google it. We'll say static files in Django, managing static files. So this is the Django documentation. You could use this anytime you want. So it says template does not exist, static files dirs. Okay, I think you must say something like static underscore root. This is the name you want to give there. So let's actually say this, and it maybe we'll just try if it works. Cannot be reached. Why? Yep, the app was site handler. Okay, it actually returns some error. It says you're using the static files app without setting the static URL setting. Okay, I guess the static URL is actually required, I guess. Now what let's actually, I actually worked with this before. So let me actually go ahead and look at the previous project that I worked on. I'm pretty sure I fixed it right there, so it saves us a lot of time by doing that. Where is that thing? I'll just open the folder, go to secure text. So we just want to look at the settings.py file here, and so there you go. It says /static. Okay, all right, we'll just copy this and we'll paste it here. And this is not the directory where we are at right now, so we'll say static. Yep, that would be it. So let's see if we are able to do this right now. Okay, still the same. Template does not exist at, followed by. So where are we looking for the template actually? So it's actually looking for this directory, site packages, Django contribute templates. Source does not exist. Interesting. Why did my MacBook go off? Shit. My MacBook ran out of battery. Now I need to use my mobile for reading the chat. Give me a minute. right. Right, so it says static URL is equal to static. Uh, when running tests that the actual is instead of built-in test client, this is not what we wanted. Uh, Configuring starting files. Make sure django.contrib.static files is included in your installed apps. So let's actually make sure that it is actually installed in our installed apps. Where are our installed apps? So this is installed apps, so static files is indeed included, so we pass the first thing, and then in your setting file define static URL. For example, in your templates use static template tag to build the URL for the given relative path using the configured static file storage. All right, so just a minute. If we go to secure text, all right. You can define a list of directories or static files in your settings file where Django will also look for static files. For example, static files directories is equal to os.path.join base directory followed by the thing you want to do. That's what I did here. I said os.path.join base directory static files, and then the views.py when we are rendering some stuff. That's exactly what we're doing. So this must work. Let's try this again. Index.html is indeed the name of the file. So securetext.in/static. Let's see if it works now. Still the same. Uh, let's actually print this out. I just want to see what is this thing. So if I reload this, this should print out what we are looking at. This is all the error. I need to actually paste it before this. Okay, I'll just try with the backslash then. But why is it not printing this stuff right here? Okay, it just printed out when I clicked on Control C. Where did it go? Okay, it's going to see users. Okay, not this. Static files directory, see users status Swarup document secure text underscore in slash static. That is exactly where we want to go, right? Secure text dot in slash static is where we want to look for. But still, it's not working. What would be the cause for this? Okay, maybe I'll just include a slash right there, backslash maybe, not a backslash, maybe forward slash, and let's go. Still the same. It says template does not exist index.html. So you know what? Let's actually delete the static file and let's follow the convention which we followed for the other project. Why is it not getting deleted? Okay, it says it's not available. Let's open that folder again. So it's in secure text HTML. And then we'll create templates. Oh, I think you have to define a folder like templates. I think Django will look for a folder named templates. I think that's why we're not getting this thing. So here we can paste the files that we want. So let's go to the export which we created and we'll just copy all this and we'll paste it here. And let's just cross check this thing with what we created, templates. So secure text underscore in HTML templates. Yep. Now let's see if it works or not. I'll just copy this whole stuff because the same thing is actually happening. Actually, we are doing the same thing as we did for the previous project, so it should work. I don't find any reason for it to not work. Still the same. It's actually going for a wrong directory right here. I don't know why it's going for that wrong directory. Making the template appear is a difficult task to do in chance. Took me quite a few turns to get it sorted. I would suggest redoing the entire stuff or at least checking that part. Well, yep, even when I did for the first time, it took me a little bit of time. So I think we're not properly reading the documentation right here. Static underscore templates use a static template tag to build the URL for the given relative path using static file storage. Go to HTML templates. These are the templates. We use Django.contrib+. This is for development, so we're not looking at it right now. And this is also okay. This is for development, so we have to look at it. I thought it's for deployment. I misread it as deployment, guys. Yes, I'm a genius. If you use django.contrib.static files as explained above, run server will do this automatically when debug is set to true. If you don't have, you can still manually serve static files. It's okay. This is not suitable for reductions use. So that's only common strategy. Okay. For example, if your static URL is defined as static, you could do this by adding the following snippet in your code. So static settings, right? For example, if your media underscore URL is defined as media, you could do this by adding all right. I think I have to do this as false, maybe. Let's see. Okay, I got it. I need to put it right here. That's why it's not working. Yep. So in the templates, I need to do something like base directly followed by the things I want to do, and we have to disable the app directories because we are following the common template for the whole project. I guess it works now. Let's see. Let's reload this. Yep, it works now, but you could see that none of the bootstrap is actually applied because we are not properly loading or locating the bootstrap files. So it's actually pretty easy to fix that as well, because we learned that we have to do something with the static files folder and stuff. So I'll actually fix that. I'll open the index.html, and clearly says there in the documentation that if you want to do something, include something there, you'd want to say load static, and you could just go ahead. I'll just close this thing. Okay. Yep, we could just say load static, and then you could here you could say something like mod static followed by the directory where this is present, where the particular file is present. So in this case, you could say, you could go to assets and then to bootstrap. Yep, assets and then to bootstrap. You basically copy all this thing inside this. It should work fine. So we'll do that for all the other things as well. Static followed by something like that, and then cut, paste here. This is a CDN, so we don't need to do this. We don't need to modify that. And here we need to modify it. So basically we are loading the corresponding CSS file from our static directory in our project. That's why we are using this static here, to tell the renderer that we have to load from the static directory. That is what we are doing right now. Okay. Same is the case for all the script files here. So I need to modify all the script files too. I know it's frustrating. What if we'll just copy it from the next line? Static CD again. Almost there, guys. 3 more lines. Just be patient. 3 more lines and we are almost done. Last line, let's go. Right, I think that's it. Let's go and reload our page. Hmm, there we go. Works. Let's see if we have any errors. Let's open my console and let's see if we have any loading errors. No, there are no loading errors. So yep, everything is fine. So we finally got our index page to load up. So this is the localhost app URL for now. So when user goes to the home page, in after deployment, basically if he goes to securetext.in, this page will appear. Right, perfect. So I think it took us half an hour to display the home page. Great, we are doing great, guys. Why are we editing so many scripts? We can href to this to just uploading website. I didn't get you, Ankit Kumar. Why are we editing so many scripts? We can href to the CSS to any testing. The thing is, in Bootstrap Studio, when you're exporting it, it doesn't give you an option to customize your exports. Basically, that's why you have to do it. But now, since we have done it, we could just copy and paste all these things to other files. So yep, doesn't take much time now. It's all easy now. So yep. So let's actually go ahead and copy paste all these things right here from index.html to all the other HTML files. So I'll just copy first to create page.html and then to enter password. And then the text area.html. This is not, we are using text area new, so we'll copy it here. Those are the different versions of the text area page that I created. So I created a new version of it, which I found it more usable than the previous version. So we are using text area new.html instead of text area.html. So yep. So we have did that for our home page. Let's do that for other pages now. Actually, uh, in the in our views.py, when we are getting a request from something, so you will have to use something like a URL dispatcher Django. So URL dispatcher, this is the documentation. I remember reading this documentation, but anyways, let's do this again. So basically, if you want to dynamically create URLs, for example, for a site like this, the user decides which URL you want to create. He could create an URL by his choice. So we have to automatically dynamically load these URLs. So we can't just you can't just know which URL the user is going to create. So we could use something like this URL dispatcher. So this is what we could do. So let's actually copy this and we'll paste it in the urls.py file. So what we are doing is we are simply going to slash and then site URL. So slug is basically some text, and then site URL is the variable which we want to store this path, basically the URL, and then we will load the site handler underscore views dot let's say something like open underscore site. So we'll have to create that view here. So we'll say def open underscore site. This is basically used to open the site. So first parameter is request. The second parameter which we need to take is that site URL, the parameter right here. Remember, this is the parameter site underscore URL, right? And if everything works fine, first I'll just django.http dot I forgot the import too. So it's what's that, http response Django. Yep, this is the import, django.http import http response. So I'll just copy that, I'll just paste it here. And what we could do now is here we'll just return just to make sure that things are going according to our plan. We will just print out mm, the site underscore URL. Basically we will get to see that everything is going as usual according to the plan. So let's go. If I say let's go to Teja, my name, hit enter, there you go, it printed out Teja. Perfect. Perfect. For now it's printing out Teja. So we are actually able to retrieve the URL or the path of our website which we want, right? So we have created this view, and actually before moving on, let's actually create a database so that we get to store these things. So in Django, you don't have to, fortunately you don't have to write any SQL queries and stuff, because you could do it with Python code. I think it's called what is that, relational something, I forgot the name. Django RMI ORM, sorry, ORM, object relational model. So ORM is basically something which will automatically map your Python code into SQL queries, and it is also recommended to use ORM because it will protect you from all the SQL injection queries. And also for the hack me challenge which I posted earlier, I used this ORM, so the site is not vulnerable to any SQL injection. So we'll be using ORM, Django ORM. It comes predefined obviously with Django. So in order to define a database, you could just go to models.py and then create a site. Let's say we call the name of the table, the table as sites, class sites, and then you know what, to be pretty sure we are doing the right thing, we'll just models in, wow, models in Chennai, lol. That's not my search suggestion, guys. I did not log into my account, so before you comment anything that it's not my search suggestion, it's basically I am not logged in or anything, so there's no way Google figures out that that is what I'm interested in. Anyway, so this is how we create a model. So let's go ahead and put it. So we'll call it as sites, and then what are these are the fields basically. So the first field which we want to know is the site underscore URL, which means basically the URL of the site. For example, if I put Teja here, slash Teja is the URL of the site. So we'll have to map each URL of the site with the text, right? So we have to, in the database basically, we have to store the ciphertext for each URL. That's what we have to do, right? Will this video be live after the live stream ends? I'm actually planning to make a highlight of this live stream after the live stream ends. So let's see what happens. So yeah, site URL, and then you also store the cipher, which is the encrypted text. And then we will also say created on, and for this we'll use the date time field in Django. So created on will basically store the date and time when the user created this site. And remember that we are not storing any information about the user. We are only storing the site URL, the encrypted text, and the date when the site was first created, and then we'll store the information about when it was last updated. And yes, that's it, I guess. So created on, there is a what I'm actually looking for right now is there is a predefined way using which you could by default get the update date and create a date. So I included that in my previous project, so let's actually quickly go ahead and do search for that in models.py. So there you go. So yeah, here you go. If you set something like auto now add equal to true, that will automatically add the date when this particular record in the table is first created. So which means when the user first create the site, or when the site is first created, the time and date will be automatically added to the database. And then this last updated, you could see auto underscore now is equal to true. This will automatically update this last updated row or column in the row whenever that particular row is updated. So whenever the site is modified, the modified date and time will be automatically added. So we'll just use these two things right here. Right, and also one more thing we need to store is the hash content, and we will talk more about this hash content soon. So also this must be a text field, not a character field. Text field, Django model. Okay, so you could say models dot text field, right? Models dot text field, because we don't have any idea how long the text will be, so you could it's better to store it in text field. And also for this as well, hash content, we will store it in text field. Perfect. Create and highlight, but also let the full video be up. Yep, I was actually planning to do that. So yep, sure. Alright, so now we basically created a table which named as sites, and the columns in that table are as follows. The first column is site underscore URL, which we use to store the URL of that site, and then the next column is cipher, which basically contains the encrypted text in that site. And then hash content, we will talk about hash content later, because there is a lot of explanation that I need to give to explain this hash content concept. And then created on will store the date and time on which the site was first created, and last updated will hold the last modified date and time of the particular site. So that's all we are collecting, that we are storing on the server, on our database. So now since we have done this, we need to actually go ahead and run a command, python manage.py migrate, so that it actually creates our database files. And also we have to say python manage.py make migrations, followed by the app name, which is what is that, site handler, so that it creates the table. Okay, no site handler is definitely one of the app. It says site handler, it does not exist. Why is it that it's saying something like this? Site handler, I'm sure I did not misspell it. So what's wrong there? Did I include it correctly in the settings.py file? Installed apps. What? Why did I say secure text underscore in? I have to say site handler. Lol. That's why it said it basically said that error. So now it should work. There you go. Inconsistent use of tabs. So there seems like some syntax error right there. Let's go ahead and fix it. Still auto now equal to true. Why does it say? Okay, I think this is an issue with Sublime Text. It messed up the tab space or something. That's why it is saying inconsistent use of stuff. Okay, does this work now or what? Okay, there you go. It says create model site. So it has successfully created it. And let's run migrate again. So these changes are reflected to our database. So there we go, applying all migrations are actually done. Great. So now our database is created. So we will just go to our views.py, and in this open site we could actually go ahead, and the first thing that we want to make sure is check if the site already exists, right? And in order to do that, we'll have to import the model. So I'll say from dash models import site. So we want to work with the sites table, so I'll import that here. And then we could say site is equal to sites dot objects dot filter, and then we will get it by site underscore. one more thing I forgot here is that we need to add a unique field constraint to site underscore URL, because we can't have more than two rows in a table with the same site URL, right? So I'll say unique constraint. Why am I searching in Google Chrome? I want to search in Brave because it's faster, and also it doesn't reveal my search results. So unique field Django, make field unique Django. Model field reference. This doesn't. Okay, you have to just say unique equal to true. Got it. So site URL comma unique equal to true. That will make it unique, and we have to run this whole thing again. Oh my god. So we'll make migrations, and then we'll say Python migrate. That should save all our changes. Great. Now open site. We are getting site is equal to sites.objects.filter, and we are retrieving if any site is same as site underscore URL, right? And then we are getting this first element in that, and okay, this thing, and we could say if len of site equal to 0, then it means the site doesn't exist. And when the site doesn't exist, we have to show this create page underscore page.html. So we'll say return render of request comma create page.html. Else, if the length of site is not equal to 0, which it means that there is a record in the table with that particular site URL. So it means the site already exists. So this site already exists, and you could say return render of request comma what's that, enter password. So we want to show enter password.html, right? So let's run this. Python manage.py run server. Hope there are no syntax errors or anything. Yep, the server is running. So let's go ahead and run this. So there you go. When we go to /Teja, it says site is available because there is no site with the URL Teja, so it displayed as this page, right? So if Teja is already taken, then it should why did I click on that? So yeah, if Teja is taken, then it should take us to the create page.html. But for now, we can be sure that it actually works. It's actually redirecting to this web page right here. Perfect. Increase volume. Just increase it again. How many likes we got? We got 66 likes. Guys, if you are watching the stream, please do like. Make sure you leave a like below and then continue watching the stream. So please do like while you're watching this, so that I know that people are actually liking the stream. Increase volume. Okay, I will talk louder. Right. So the open site now works. Now what? So when we are going to any URL like this, it's going to show this web page if the site is available, or else it will show the create password.html. Right. So inside this, I think now we'll have to code the text area. What shall we do next? Shall we code the text area handler, or we'll code this thing? Alright, let's actually code this thing. So in order to do this, we will actually have to create a JavaScript file, get the password of these two, and if these both passwords match, we will take them to the next, send an AJAX request to retrieve the content, and then we'll send them. Right. So for that, I think we will create a new JavaScript. So inside this JavaScript, I'll create a new file, and let's say I call it as opensite.js. Yeah, opensite.js makes a proper name for that. And we first want to make sure that it actually contains this thing. So we'll add this. We'll say open_site.js. Perfect. So now what we need to do is we just need to get this the passwords. What is the ID of this thing? There is no ID, I guess. Yep, there is no ID. So let's actually go ahead and in the create page, enter password, choose a password to encrypt. All right, input. Okay, yeah, the first input I'll give the ID name as password field ID name, and the second one I'll put the ID name as confirm password dash field, right? So now I can work with them on the JavaScript. So event listener JavaScript, I just want to add an event listener to the JavaScript. So how do you do that? Add event listener. All right, we'll do this then. So first we need to do say element. So we'll say variable element is equal to document dot get element by ID, and what's the ID name of it? It's password dash field. So password dash field, this is the password, and then we'll create another thing. We'll create another thing. We'll say confirm password field, and we'll call this as confirm underscore password. So we'll put the listeners. Actually, why am I creating a listener to this? We have to create a listener to the submit button. So we'll have to add the submit button, an ID. So where is create button? So in this thing we'll say ID is equal to create dash btn, right? So here we will say we'll create the element submit, or we'll say create site is equal to, and then we'll say what's the name of the thing I've given? It is create dash btn. Yep, create dash btn. Nice. So now we will add a event listener to create site dot add event listener. Click on my function. So my function will say this as create site, and here what you could do is you could maybe you could do something like send an AJAX request, and then AJAX request to the server, and then the server should send the layout of the text area new.html, and then we could show that thing. Yep, for that we will need to use jQuery. So jQuery CDN. We'll use Google CDN for jQuery. So we'll just copy this and paste it in our file create page.html. This must, okay, it's already there, jQuery.min.js, so we don't have to do that again, right? Got it. Indian scammer, thank you for the 40 rupees super chat. Do you think it will be a good idea to do this in PHP? Yeah, I mean, you have to choose a language which you're comfortable in. I'm comfortable with Python, so I'm using Python. If you're comfortable with PHP, you should use PHP. Doesn't matter. Could give the same functionality to the same website, whatever the language you're using. So can't hear your voice, and wait a minute, let me increase the gain in my microphone. Right, so create site, it must send an AJAX request to that to our server. So let's create a view in our server. Let's say load layout. So I'll say def load layout, and then we'll take request as the parameter. And what we need to do now here is we need to send the layout that is in the text area new.html, right? So it's in text area new. We have to send this one. So I'll say return render of something like request comma, yeah, you could just say text area new.html. That would send it. Uh, yeah, that would send this layout. So from our JavaScript file, we need to call the jQuery Ajax. So we'll say jQuery Ajax. Just want to look at the documentation so that we don't mess up anything, right? Actually, you know what? We'll use the W3 schools. We'll refer to W3 schools. So this is the thing which we could do. I think it's not clear yet. Yeah. So we'll use another link maybe. So this should be it. Actually, let's search for something like jQuery Ajax post example. Or you know what, we'll actually go ahead and take that from our already existing thing, which we the previous project basically. So it saves a lot of time in browsing. We don't have to browse it if we already have it with us. So let's go JavaScript and open. So this is the JavaScript that I've already written. Obviously I came prepared for the stream. So this is the thing. So this is how you would use an Ajax function. All right, this is an Ajax function. We'll just copy all this stuff until where. So this is the Ajax. So we will send a get, okay, all right, get request to load underscore layout, which is this thing over here, load underscore layout. We will have to map that in the urls.py, but we will do it later. So we don't have to send any data because the whole functionality for this load underscore layout view is to return the text area new.html to the thing. So if it's a if it's a success, then you call a function which takes response data. So this is the response data, and we'll actually edit this whole thing right here, because this thing should say document dot get. We basically want to rewrite the whole content of the page, so we'll say document dot get element how do you replace the text of whole body? Edit element by tag JavaScript document dot write get element by id JavaScript get element by tag. Okay, get element by tag name. Yep, this is what we want, get element by tag name. So we will copy that, and here what we will do is we will say document dot get element by tag name of HTML dot in HTML equal to, and then we'll just replace that with the response data which we received. So that must basically rewrite the whole page to the new text area new.html without reloading the page. That's the whole point of Ajax actually. So in our views.py load layout, let's actually go ahead and define this in this thing right here. It's going to be load underscore layout slash site handler underscore views dot load layout. Let's actually go ahead and look at if it's working or not. So if I let's say put some password test Create site. Not loading. Maybe some error occurred there. Okay, it's not triggering. The create site button is not triggering actually. I think it's because the JavaScript is triggered even before the window loaded. So JavaScript on window load on load event. I'm sweating right now. What's your age? My age is 19 right now. I'm turning 20 on this 24th, by the way. My birthday is in 10 days. This is in text area. I have to install volume booster notification. Right, so where were we? On click. Our on click method is not working, unfortunately. And why is that? So we are saying create site dot add event listener. What's the ID of this? Why is the ID not updated? Right there. I'm pretty sure I updated the ID value there. I saved the ID value, but it's not updated there. I think that's why it's not triggering. Let's reload the page again. And yep, there we go. Now it says something like that. Let's say test console. Okay, there seems to be some error right there. OpenJS 5 fifth line. Function create site. My function. Okay, I have to say create site. Create site. Perfect. Now if you reload this, no error, gone. So test create site. Still it's not triggering. Why it's not triggering? Create site dot add event listener. Let's see what we are doing wrong here. That's what we did. Yield on click equal to. Oh, we have to say window dot onload. We have to wait for the window to load first. So I'll say window onload JavaScript. Okay, I think you have to define everything inside this function. So I'll add the event listener inside this function. And now let's see if it works. Still doesn't work. Or let's actually print a console.log. Create button triggered. Why it says create button triggered? Even without clicking it, it says create button triggered. Now even need to event my ID creates an event. Alright, you know what? Let's do it with jQuery. Let's see if there's any difference in jQuery. jQuery button on click. So I click on that. Yep, it's now triggered. So instead of all this thing, I'll just say save site, so create site. Create site is not defined. What the hell? Okay, misspelled it. Still doesn't work. Why does it not work? Or let's say console.log create site triggered, just to make sure that the button is getting triggered or not. Once again, it just gets triggered on loading. Why the hell is it happening like that? Here's something like function. Okay, it's working this way, but it's not working anyways. So let's actually copy all this thing and put it inside that. I have no idea why it's working that way. So now it must work. If I click on create site, it says create site triggered. Perfect. So our server request, yeah, there you go. It actually got response get loadout, got a response from there. So if I say test, but still nothing's happening. Why? Let's print out the response data that we received. Console.log resp data, response data. That's just to see what the response we have received. Okay, this is the response we have received. We are actually receiving the correct response right there, but still it's not getting updated. Okay, what might be the issue right there? Document dot get elements by tag name html dot inner html is equal to response data. Is this the how you do it? Once again, let's go back to my previous script and let's see. That's how you do it. HTML. Okay, I'm saying document dot elements get elements by tag name. Okay, it seems like I have to give. Okay, this is an array, that's why. Oh, got it. So I have to put 0th index right there. So if I click on create site, okay, there's some error, cannot set property of 0 inner HTML. Why did I give it here? I have to give it here 0. Now hopefully it works. There you go. Now it loaded this file without, it changed the layout of the whole website without reloading anything. So yep, our Ajax worked without any error. Yay! Congrats. Right. Mm, Also, when we are doing this function, we need to first make sure that if password not equal to password confirm password, then we will just alert passwords must match. If nothing like that, if passwords are actually matched, then we could just go ahead and put the Ajax request right there. And also we also have to make sure that and password not equal to empty space, because we don't want the empty space as well. So, I mean, we don't want a blank password as well, right? So let's actually test if this works. So if I click on create site, it says passwords must match. So if I click some different passwords, still says password must match. But if I give the right password, still it says passwords must match. What? Let's see what's happening, what's wrong here. Hmm. This is password field, confirm password field. Okay, and I messed it up right there. So if I give both same passwords, there you go. It must take you to the new screen. Perfect. So once we're into the new screen, the user will now be able to, type all this stuff, create a new tab. Hello there. So, all right. So the next functionality which you want to include is the save button. So when the user clicks on the save button, the site must be basically saved, right? So what we will do now is we'll create a function save site, and what this must do is I'll just open my tab handler 2.js, and when you click on save site, uh, all the text from all the tabs must be collected first. So in order to do that, I actually implemented a function in this tab handler 2.js, which I coded earlier. So this is the function collect text. So this basically collects the text from all the tabs basically, and then it returns the all text. So when we are saying function save site, first thing we need to do is collect text from all the tabs, right? So I'll say collect text, and then we'll call it where all text, variable all text is equal to collect text. So now we have all the collected text in this thing. So all right, next, when we have the collected text, the next thing we need to do is first calculate the calculate the encrypted form. Yep, calculate the encrypted form. So we'll say var e content, it stands for encrypted content. I'll say crypto.js. Crypto.js is a predefined implementation. I've actually downloaded that JavaScript file. It's a predefined implementation of cryptographic functions in JavaScript basically. So you could use it if you want. So crypto.js.aes.encrypt, and then we want to encrypt all text with the password, right? Yep, want to encrypt this thing with the password, and that we will store it in e-content. So now we have the encrypted text in the variable e-content. So now we could just simply send it to the server. Bro, please give a link of your blog from which you can download. Well, I'm typing it. Just go to blog.techcrunch. I don't think I would be able to type it from here. Right, we'll just take a small break for 5 minutes because I'm sweating a lot. Let's watch some YouTube videos, maybe. We play some NCS music, guys. I'll read the chat by then. We'll continue. We'll just take a break for 5 minutes. BTech or BSCIT? Neither of them. I'm actually doing a 5 years integrated course, MTech course. It's MTech, but for 5 years you get both BTech and MTech certificate together. I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. Bro, why use an external library for something this easy? What do you mean? What external library are you referring to? ECMAScript 6. What's that? I already told it in my previous videos and streams. I have literally no experience in JavaScript, guys, so I don't know anything about it. This is basically the first time I'm working in JavaScript, so yep, that's why I don't know much about it. What is this ECMAScript 6? It's also known as, some people call it JavaScript 6. It is a scripting language specialized standard by ECMA International. Okay, is this basically JavaScript framework or what? What is the difference between jQuery and ECMAScript? Best source to learn Django for free? You could watch YouTube tutorials. One that I would suggest is Corey. I don't remember his full name, but his first name is Corey. I actually started learning Java. I actually started learning Python Django framework from his video series on Python Django framework. So it's pretty good for beginners to start. You could watch the series. You're on LinkedIn or other social media platform? I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All the links are in the description of this live stream. You could check it out. Basically, it's a version of JavaScript. Okay, what's the use of using this? Does it make things better or what? What's the difference between jQuery and ES6? Oh, okay. It's basically okay. It's not a framework. It's a version of JS. All right. But there's no wrong in using the previous version of JavaScript because it works fine. How many years have you been coding? I've been coding from my 10th standard. Now I'm in my engineering third year. There are features added to JS like arrow function. Okay, I think there's no need of. I think the basic JavaScript would do for a simple site like this. The only thing it must do is it must calculate, it must encrypt, decrypt, and handle the tabs. And I think that's it. Encryption and decryption, AES implementations of AES algorithm and other stuffs are already there. So you could just use those scripts. What is the situation of corona in your place? I don't think there is any positive case of corona in Chennai, so that's a good thing. But once again, how do you actually report that? How do you actually say that there is a reported case in corona? Only if the person who has symptoms of corona approaches hospital, right? What if he doesn't just approach any hospital and he ends up having corona? He ends up being infected. That means that the case probably goes unreported, which means no one has any idea that that the person actually has corona. So I don't really trust on these media resources saying how many cases are there in a particular area, because there might be more. That's what I mean. In India, 85, 4 cured. The fatality rate of this coronavirus is 3%. 3% is not a 3% fatality rate doesn't make it a very deadly virus, but still we need to be careful because Ebola has much higher fatality rate than corona. It is considered to be more deadly, but still the thing is it's easily spreadable. It spreads very easily. You could get infected really easy. So that's the thing that is most serious about this virus. Although a person can actually be cured from if he gets corona. The only cases where a person might not get cured is if he is old, basically. So any person like any teenager would I think recover if he was infected. For teens it's 0.2%. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Fatality rate is not that much. Your PC specs. I use a laptop, not a PC. So 8 GB RAM. I use Predator, 8 GB RAM, DDR3 I guess, and the graphic card is NVIDIA GeForce GTX Intel i7 8th generation. Elon Musk said there is no need to worry about corona. Well, people are overreacting, but that doesn't mean that you should not care about corona. Why are the messages getting deleted? Oh, it's retracted. Okay. Depends on immune system. Yeah, it depends on immune system. So it affects old age people because their immune system is not as efficient as compared to the immune system of younger people. So that's why older people are more prone to getting infected by corona. So what is your favorite coding language? As you could say, it's Python. I love Python. ES6 is also compiled to basic JS. Okay, got it. I heard about ES6 many times, but I never really tried it. Could you lower the music volume a little bit? All right. Is that fine? How much experience do you have in coding? Not much. Bye bye, bro. Bye, Abhishek. Thanks for joining the chat. Spreading is faster. Yep, that's what. Spreading really fast. So that's the only thing we need to worry about, I guess. If it spreads to majority of people, it would be really hard to handle the situation. Because if everyone were infected by coronavirus, who is there to take care of them, right? And we would also run out of resources, medical resources. So, which camera are you using? I'm using Logitech C920 HD webcam. I purchased it long back, long back, like literally years back. Start gaming videos like Minecraft. I don't think I can do that. I don't even have proper setup to play games on stream. I do play games, but I can't stream while playing. Bro, on which language I should start coding? You could start with Python. It's really good for beginners. So Python, Java, you could start. You could even start in Java too. Are you freelancer or work somewhere? No, I'm not a freelancer. I barely even get time to make videos. So there's no way for me to freelance. I'm a student, so Corona don't have medicines. That's why some issues. Yeah, it's a new virus, so obviously we don't have antidote for it. So, two died in India. Yeah. I keep reading the news about it every day. I also heard that educational institutes in Hyderabad are actually closed down. Is that true, guys? Is anyone of you from Hyderabad or Telangana? Gaming gives huge lot of subscribers. Yep, I know, but that's another thing. That's another field. Bakwas. Kya bakwas? I get stuck on objects and inheritance topic. I don't get a real world example. How to get know of it? Well, yes, this happens. Even when I was in my earlier days of learning programming, I did not quite understand the concept of classes, objects, inheritance, basically all the object oriented uh, methods. But as you write code more, as you start writing your own code, and uh, you know doing some research on the internet and all that stuff, you learn by yourself. Why am I out of focus? Am I out of focus? No, I'm not out of focus. The best thing about this webcam is that it has an autofocus function, so I don't have to worry about that. How much hard work did it take to reach here? A lot of hard work. Obviously I can't describe how much hard work, because I don't know how to describe that. But yeah, it took a lot of effort. And Dhruv Nation, also please do not spam, because you may get a timeout from Nightbot. Please don't. Me from Hyderabad. So how is the situation there in Hyderabad? Can you make a video on USB rubber ducky? It's already there on my website, bro. You can go ahead and check it out. You could go to techcrash156.com/videos and you could check that out. Karnataka college closed from 14 to 30. I think okay, Karnataka. I thought it's Kerala. The first case is the first case in India is from Kerala, I guess. Bro, bachelor computer applications or diploma? I really don't have any idea about formal education, bro. Please don't ask me. I'm not the right person to answer those questions because I don't really believe in formal education. So, just a minute, guys. I'll be back. I got to pee.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by
Alright, guys, I'm back. So, yep, let's actually go back to coding. So, where are we? So we are writing the function for save site, which will we should save the site. So first, what we are doing is we are getting the text. We are collecting all the text. So this is the function collect text. Basically, collects all the text from all the tabs, right? And then it returns the all text, collected text. So we are getting all the collected text, and then we are encrypting it with our password, with the password that the user created. And then once we done that, we have to send this thing to the server, right? So what we could do is we could send it to the server, and for that I think we'll write another ajax function. Let's copy this ajax and we'll write an ajax function here. We'll do this time a post, and then we'll send it to save underscore site all in lowercase. and then we need to send some data right here. So what data shall we send? We need to send first of all the site URL which we are yep, the site URL which we are working on. So how do you get the site URL? Let's actually try to go to inspect console, say window.location dot path name. That will get you the path. So we just want to strip the first character. We just want to strip all the forward slashes. So I'll say window.location.path name of substr substring, and then we could say 1 comma -1. What is that? It's not work. It didn't work. 1 comma window dot location path name dot length. Okay, I'll say length -1. Yep, we could do that. So here we'll say where site URL is equal to. Actually, would this lead to any vulnerability if we are sending site URL from the client side? Because obviously we are sending it from the client side, so anyone would be able to change the site URL to anything they wish. So okay, let's actually see how that works. Window.location.path name BGM reduce. Alright. There's my BGM. Reduced it as much as I can. So once again, what you could do, we could say variable path is equal to window dot location dot path name. So path is going to be something like that. So say path dot sub str of 1 comma path dot length. -2 will give something like this. So we could do something like this. So where site is okay, and then we will say site URL is equal to site URL dot sub str of 1 comma site URL dot length -2. So first we send the site URL, right? So site URL, and then we send the cipher which is e content, and then remember we also need to send some hash content, right? So we'll say hash content equal to, and since this is a new site, we do not have an hash content. A hash content is basically the hash of the encrypted text, right? So since this is a new site, we don't have any hash content to begin with. We don't need to send it anything, I guess. Or shall we send it? We will actually create where hash is equal to cryptojs.sha 512 of the content, which is all text, e content, because we want to calculate the encrypted content thing, and then you could say dot toString, right? And then hash content we could send simply, we could say hash. Okay, so we're sending this post to this URL with this data, and then if it's a success, then we could just simply display a message. We'll say caller.toast successfully saved. Right, and before doing this, we need to include all the AES.js and SHA512.js. Basically, we need to include the script files which contain the implementation of AES and SHA firewall algorithms. So let me go to that. It's in JS. So yeah, JS, this is the file aes.js, and then SHA firewall.js. jQuery.min is basically a plugin that I'm using to display pop-up messages. So I'll have to display that as well. And in the CSS part, you also have to copy this jQuery.toast.min. So perfect. Save site. So if it's a function, you could say, if it's a success, you could say successfully saved. On the server side, however, we could say something like def save site of request, and then return. Okay, sorry, we have to save it first. So I'll say site is equal to sites and then we could create stuff. We could say site underscore URL is equal to so this will basically create an object of sites class. So it's going to insert a row in our table. So we could say site.save, but before actually doing this stuff, we have to check if the hash content that we received is equal to the already existing hash content. So we will say, we'll just put this outside this. Oh, sorry. So okay, first when saving the site, I think we have to check if the site already exists or not. So maybe we'll just write a function to that. We'll say def check underscore site, and this function, it's not a view, it's just a function. And then what we could do, we could say site is equal to sites of sites dot objects dot filter, and then you could say site URL is equal to site underscore URL. We'll just put site underscore URL here, and here we could say if len of site equal to 0, that means the site doesn't exist. So it's say return false, which means the site doesn't exist. Else if the site exists, we could say return true. All right, so before doing this, we could say something like check site of site URL, and we'll say site exists. So this is going to be a boolean value based on if the site exists or not. So if the site already exists, then we could actually get the hash content. So we'll say received hash. We'll just save that to received hash, and here we'll say hash content equal to sites dot objects dot filter. Okay, here we could just return site. That would be much easier. So here if site exists, equal to false, it means that it is a new site. So if it's a new site, we could create that thing. Site is equal to sites of site URL is equal to, we could save the site. But if it's not a new site, we could do something like we can first get the hash content. So as a hash content is equal to this, we could change it to received hash. So hash content is equal to sites, okay, site exists dot of 0 dot what's the name of the field? It's hash content basically. So we could just rename it to hash content. And then we have to check if the received hash is equal to hash content. Only then we could just be sure that we could make changes to it. So received hash is equal to hash content, then we could go ahead and save this site. So we could say we need to update the cipher and the hash content. So how do you update in Django? Update in Django. Okay, you could just say something like this. So here we could say site exists dot cipher is equal to cipher, the received cipher, and then you could say site exists dot hash content is equal to received hash. Right. So what this does is when you're executing this view, it's first going to take the post parameter site URL and it's storing its site URL. Similarly, taking cipher and then storing it in cipher, and then hash content and it's storing it in received hash. So then it's saying we are actually checking if the site already exists. So if site exists is equal to check site. This is the function responsible for it. So if the site with this particular site URL already exists in our database, then we are returning that particular site object. If it's not, then we are saying just false. So if site exists equal to false, or we could say if not of site exists, that doesn't matter. But if site exists equal to false, it basically means that we are dealing with a new site right here. So we could say site is equal to sites of site URL is equal to site URL comma cipher. So we are basically creating a new row in that particular table, and then we are just saving it, right? If not, we are I mean, if this is the case, then it means site already exists, right? So in this case, we are retrieving the hash content from that particular table, and then we are checking if the received hash, which is received from the post parameter, is equal to the already existing site, right? So we are saying site exists. So we are basically updating the value of this cipher is equal to this thing, and then we will say site exists dot save, right? Yeah, that's it, I guess. Yep. Now we are saving that. Yep, that basically is the whole functionality we require for this view, save site. What's happening in the chat, guys? You guys are playing here. All right. Anyways, you guys have fun. I'll just continue my work. Right. So if not, also this is a view, so it must return something, right? So let's say it returns a JSON response telling the client whether the save is successful or not. So why did I open Microsoft Store? So let me close all these tabs. It's making my computer lag. So we'll say JSON response Django. Okay, this is the thing we need to import from Django.http. Import JSON response. All right, and then we could just return JSON response. All right, so here in the first case, if the site is new, site exists. If the site is new, when we are saving changes to the site, we could say return JSON response of, and then we could pass the dictionary. So we could say status, and we could say success. Just we are notifying the client whether the save is actually successful or failure. So if we come to the else part, so if the site already exists, we are checking if the hash content is equal to the hash content of this. So if it is equal, then we are saving the site, we are making changes to the site, and you also saying returning a JSON response with the status equal to success. If not, if they are not equal, it means that the user does not have required privileges to edit the site. So we'll say status of fail. So that must do it. And now we need to actually calculate the hash of this. So how do you calculate the hash of this? We also need to, for security purposes, we also need to add password to this hash function. Why, you ask? Well, consider a scenario where a user saved some text on a site, and some third party knows the text that is saved on that particular site. For example, let's say they know it somehow. So what they can do is they can make changes to this site which is owned by the real user without knowing the password, because you could just hash the decrypted text with the encrypted text with that, and you could send that encrypted text to the server. So the server basically uses this hash of this encrypted text as a kind of like a password to check if the user has required privileges or not. So if anyone knows the text which is already present on the site, they could simply forge the request, and they could basically edit the site, delete it, change the password of the site, do whatever. All this they can do without knowing the password. So what we will do is we'll include password in this thing. So we'll say password dot we'll say crypto.js dot shf. We'll actually hash the password first, and then we will add it to e-content, and then we'll add the whole thing again. We'll hash the whole thing again and convert it into string. That would make a pretty good security if you ask me. So yep, that must do it. So save site, it's going to send to save site hash content hash function successfully decrypted. Okay, we have to actually check the response data. So how do you parse the JSON response in a thing? We'll actually Google that as well. So parse JSON JavaScript, JSON.parse. All right, so we could say JSON.parse, something like that. Doesn't look clear to me. Let's actually try that in our console. Let's say we have something like st equal to some string with JSON format data. Let's say Teja Swaroop. So if I say json.parse st unexpected token, what's happening in the chat? Narendra Modi has joined the chat. Nice. Anyways, let's look into this JavaScript parse. Parse JSON response in JavaScript. Okay, let's execute this thing. Console window, and you could say json.parse JSON, and you could say this is equal to json.parse JSON, and if you say json.result, okay, we have res dot count. All right, got it. So this is how you do it. So what we do is you say resp data is equal to, we have a function known as stringify which we need to use in order to encode it into a string. So we'll use that stringify JSON. Yep, stringify JSON. So we need to use that JSON not stringify. Yep, JSON not stringify. So we could just say JSON dot stringify, and then we could pass response data to that, and then we could say response data is equal to JSON dot parse response data. So now we could say if response data dot status equal to success, then that means we are successful in, I mean the save is actually successful. Let's remove this toast value. If not, it means that the save is not successful. So the jQuery jQuery toast plugin that I used has a documentation actually. So this is the jQuery toast plugin that I use. So you could do something like this. So if you want to print out an error, if you want to print out a success, you could use this code. So let's copy this, and if it's a success, then we'll print out a success pop-up message. This is a jQuery plugin once again. So I can say success, and then text, I can say something like saved successfully, right? And if it's a failure, in this case, if it's a failure, I could put this error pop-up. Error, and I could say something like save failed. Alright, that must do it, I think. Yep, post save site. And did we define a save site in this? No, we did not. So we will map save site to this. So we'll say save underscore site is equal to site handler underscore views dot save underscore site. Is that the right name? Yep, it is the right name. And one more thing which we need to do is we need to include all the AAS, SHA 512, all those files. So we'll include that. First we'll include the AES.js, and then we'll include the SHA. Is it SHA512.js? I guess let's actually cross check that. Assets JavaScript is SHA512.js, and then we also need to include that other thing which is tab handler. What is that? Sorry, jQuery.toast.min.js. So we could say something like jQuery.toast.min.js. And for this jQuery toast min.js, we also need to include a CSS file so that the styling is done. So it's there in assets. Mm, assets comma css comma jQuery dot toast dot min. Okay, assets comma css comma jQuery dot toast dot min dot css. Is that what it is here? So we'll just copy this thing to text area new.html also. We don't want any errors happening to it. Basically, we don't want any loading errors, right? All right, time for the big move right here. So create site. Let's say the password is test create site, and it creates a site. And now we say, hey there, this is a sample text. All right, now when you click on the save button, did we add a listener to the save button in the first place? I don't think we did that. So we need to add the listener to the save button. id equal to save button. So open site.js. Yeah, this. And we need to use a delegate jQuery function, because the content that we have actually updated the content with jQuery, with Ajax I mean. So if you want to add click listeners to the updated content, we need to use delegate function in jQuery. I actually found a Stack Overflow, a very useful Stack Overflow forum on this. How do I get to that? Let's say add event listener jQuery after Ajax. Yeah, this must give you. So there you go. You should do something like this, right? So what we could do is we could say, so we will say whole document here, document.onClick, and then what is the name of that? It's save dash btn, and then function here we could say save site. Now let's see if that works. Create site. This is some text. Save, something happened. Console. Okay, we have some error right there. Crypto.js is not defined. What the hell? Why is it not defined? Pretty sure I included that. AS SHA512. Yep, I included that. Did I not include it in create page? OpenSite.js. Okay, one thing I did here, I'm actually loading it from Bootstrap, that's why it's showing the error. Got it now. I need to do this in this. I gave the wrong path name basically. Even this here. Let's see if it works now. Nope, not working. Cannot read property 0 of undefined. It is some issue with AES. What? Did I wrongly call some function name or something? Crypto, okay. Crypto js dot aes dot encrypt of all text comma password. That's what. Okay, you have to I think say dot toString maybe. Or did I implement it in the wrong way? Let's actually cross check it. Mm, okay. E content is equal to crypto js dot as dot encrypt all text comma password dot toString. Yep, that's what we did. That is what we did. Let's try it in the console. Let's say AES dot encrypt of Teja. Let's say my name. I'm encrypting it with test, and I'll say dot toString. It does give an the encrypted form. Why is it showing an error here? So this is the collected text that we got. Right. Let's say this is Teja's Swaroop. Save. Cannot read property 0 of independent. Maybe you have to give it. I have to give while encrypting it all text dot toString. Still the same. What is the value of password here? Okay, I think we are doing something wrong there. Password is equal to great. We're actually not getting the password value right there. So you have to say something like password dot value. I guess value is that. Does that work? Let's run it in the terminal. Say password dot value. Yep, that's how you must do it. I think that's the error. Let's go ahead, refresh the page, keep the password as test, create site, and this is Teja. Click on that and save that. Okay. Okay, this is some server error. CSRF token missing. So it happens that every time you're sending a post request in Django, you have to include a CSRF token. That is one thing that is mandatory in Django. But you could actually, what do you say, suppress that warning, I could say. So CSRF exempt, I can CSRF exempt. There's some decorator named as CSRF exempt in Django, using which you could oh shit, sorry guys. My headphone was disconnected, so right. Okay, let's come back to where we are. Yeah, we are searching for CSRF exempt, right? So cross-site request forgery protection. Don't think it's there in this. Okay, you could say something like this. And here you could give the decorator for save site. You could say csrf at the rate csrf underscore exam. Yep, that must do it. Let's go now and let's see if it works now. Okay, it's not working. The trigger is not working firstly. Okay, this is some test. Let's say this is for my name, and I click on go and click on save. There we go. It said successfully saved. Now we just want to make sure that this is actually saved in this on our database. So let's actually go ahead and check our database. Go to my project directory, cd secure text underscore n, and then cd. Okay, all right. Python manage.py. I'll just open a shell in Django, and here I could say from dash site handler import. Sorry, from site handler dot modals import site. Just want to check if that actually is saved. So I'll say s is equal to sites dot objects dot filter of site underscore URL is equal to, what's that, Teja, right? So Teja, so s of 0. First we'll check the length of s. There we go, length of s is 1, which means there is actually one row in the table with this site URL Teja. So let's actually say s of 0 dot cipher. There we go. This is the encrypted content that is actually saved. Let's actually check the hash content. This is the hash content, SHA512 hash content that is saved. Perfect. So things are working as they should right now. No Vim. No, I don't use Vim. Are you going to host this site? Yes, I'm going to host this site. It will probably go live by tomorrow, so we could start using it from tomorrow. All right, the save button is now working, and then we have to program the reload button. Reload button must basically reload the site. So how do you reload the site actually? So we'll create a load site view right there, and this will get the site URL as a request parameter. So I'll also include csrf underscore exempt there, and then it will get the site URL as the request dot post parameter, site underscore URL. And then what it should do is it says site is equal to sites dot objects dot filter of site underscore URL is equal to site underscore URL. And then you could just say, it just says 0 right there, getting the first element. And then you could just return the JSON response with the data. Site underscore URL is site underscore URL, and then we also need to get the cipher. So we'll just say cipher, and then we'll pass site dot cipher. That's going to give a JSON response to us. So when the user clicks on the reload button, where is the reload button? So this is the reload button. Its ID is reload.btn. So we'll go to this thing and we'll add a handler for this reload button as well. So it says reload button, and then we'll call it as reload site. And now we'll write the reload site there. So function reload. So what this must do is it once again must send an Ajax request right there, and let's copy this Ajax request template. And also, are we storing the site path or something there? Okay, we'll put this outside all the functions. So here we could say site underscore URL is equal to site underscore URL, and that's it. I guess you are just taking site underscore URL as the input. I'll come to the chat in a short time, guys. Let us finish this reload activity too, and then we'll just get to the chat. So site URL colon site URL. So we are sending, we'll send a post to this, and we are sending it to load underscore site, right? So in our views.py, we are saying load underscore site, and we're returning the ciphertext. So here what we should do is we are getting a response data, which is a JSON. So it's a resp data is equal to JSON dot stringify of resp data, and then we'll say resp data is equal to JSON dot pass resp data, and then here we have the cipher of that thing. So when you reload that, we could just say which IDE are you using? I'm using Sublime Text Pro. So what should we do when we get the response data? We must obviously populate all the tabs. So this is the function that I've written for populate tabs. So it basically populates all these tabs. So you just have to pass the text and the separator. So once we have the thing, actually we could say variable text is equal to decrypt content. So we could say crypto.js.aes.decrypt of resp data.cipher with the password which we have, password, and then we would say dot to string. Right, and then we say populate tabs of text comma separator. What is the separator? We are using the separator as the same as this one. It's basically a separator to separate the each tab in the encrypted text. So we'll use the same separator. This is the separator. It's basically SHA-512 hash of this text right here. Just hashing it, and then we are doing it. So that's the separator we are using. So we could say separator. That must let's see if that works or not. So if I go refresh it, test. Okay, this one is not yet programmed, right? So we'll just quickly go ahead and program this this page right here. So that is in the enter password.html page. Yep, it is. We'll just copy all the things, make sure it's all there. Perfect. Now in the enter password, we have the decrypt button. Where is the decrypt button? So this is the decrypt button. So what is the ID of this decrypt button? Uh, okay, there you go. This is the class. This is the ID of the decrypt button. So we'll add an handler for that as well. So we will say document dot on, and then we'll say decrypt button. And what should happen when you click on the decrypt button? It should basically load the layout. So basically what it did for save site, no, not save site, but create button, this thing right here. What will you do in next live? I may do the same thing. GitHub education pack is good. It provides enough useful things. Yes, it is really good. It's really good, bro. 21 watching. Nice. So the time is already 10 o'clock. I plan to do the stream only until 10 o'clock. So let's just see where we are right now. So we coded the create password create page.html, which means if the site is new, you just go there and you click on create, and then you enter a password and click on create, and it creates a site. And then we have already also coded the save button, which is going to save it. And then we did not yet code the reload button yet. Reload button, it's going to call the reload site. Yeah, we actually did code it. The reload site, this function is going to get the data load site, and it's going to get the ciphertext, and it's going to decrypt it, and then it's going to populate tabs with this text, right? So we are right here. We coded the save button. We coded the save button, we coded the reload button. All that's left is, I think, three functionalities are still left. The first functionality is that when the site is already existing, the user must be able to enter the password, and when you click on decrypt, it should show the site, decrypted site, right? And then the second functionality is a change password thing. So the user should be able to change the password, and the last functionality left is to delete the site. So the user should be able to delete the site. So those are the three functionalities left. So I think we'll continue this tomorrow because the time is already 10 o'clock, and I wanted to stream only until 10. And this would take, I think, at least more 1.5 hour more to complete the rest of these things. We're almost there. I think we have done 60%. I would say 60% of the building is done. So we will do the rest of 40% tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow I'll come live. I think morning I'll be coming live. So yep, guys, I think that's it for today's live. So we are actually successful. uh, I am actually really nervous about doing this because obviously this is the first time I'm building something on a live stream. So but yeah, I think I did pretty well. I would have obviously done better if I did it offline, but you have to understand that doing something on stream is much difficult than doing it offline. You have to admit that. I think if you have some experience in streaming, you would notice that, but still. So we'll continue tomorrow, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. We'll build the rest of the website tomorrow, and we'll also host it tomorrow, right? So let's go. Cheers. Let's see. And also, I was thinking, if I am thinking to make a highlight of this stream, basically make something like a 20-minute video or something like that, 20 to 30 minute video instead of keeping this whole video. So that would drive more viewers, I guess. So yeah, I'll just see. So tomorrow we will try to build the rest of the site, or if possible, if time permits, I will build the rest of the site tonight, and then tomorrow I can show you what I did to build it, and then we could straight away go to hosting the site, making the site live, and making it ready for deployment. So yep, let's meet tomorrow, guys. I think tomorrow 11 o'clock. Is that okay? Tomorrow 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Which website you're using for hosting? I'll be using heroku.com to host it. Bro, I'm interested in ethical hacking. Now I'm pursuing BTech third year in CSC. Just confused what I should do for the next one. What should I take next? It doesn't matter what you take next, actually. That doesn't decide what you are going to do. You take, maybe you're saying in CSC, alright, you're in CSC, just keep learning new things from the internet, and then once you think you're good enough in something, just apply for certifications. Like you're saying ethical hacking, so try to learn ethical hacking online and then go for the CEH certification. That would be good. Actually, what is, you have to actually keep this thing separate from formal education. That's what I would suggest anyone. Please guide me to become ethical hacker. I am in 10th class and I want to. Yeah, that's what I said. You are saying by yourself that you don't like formal education, so you just keep your passion different from formal education, and you learn stuff on by yourself. I think that would fix everything. Please explain deep fake. I don't know what that means. Never heard of it. So anyways, guys, I'll be ending the video here. So we will meet tomorrow. So if I build the rest of the site tonight, then it will be good enough. We can directly go ahead and host the website tomorrow. But if I did not get time to build the rest of the website today, then we will build it tomorrow in the stream, and then we'll proceed to hosting it. But whatever it is, we will meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. in the morning. So see you there. Bye, and yep, I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. And I just realized that I need to now log into my YouTube studio to end it. Or can I just end it from okay, I'll just end it from here. So yeah, bye guys. Good night, and have a good Sunday tomorrow. We will have a good Sunday tomorrow because we are going to host the website. We are going to make it live. So yep, good night. See you tomorrow.